When folks have experienced water damage in their home, we get a phone call a lot of times and it says there's an inch of water in my bathroom or there's water in my living room. And so there's what the client knows has occurred, it's what they've seen has occurred, and that's important. When we arrive at the property though, we're gonna interview them basically and let them explain what happened. And then our team leaders are going to use the technology and the science of drying to figure out what really needs to be done to make the property clean, dry, and safe, the process of structural drying. So I've got a little bit of a sample here. It's just a cutaway wall section that we use for demonstration purposes in our continuing education classes for insurance professionals. And this often helps people better understand what could be happening inside the wall cavity. So if water is approaching and it's getting underneath the baseboard, and usually the drywall is held up just a little bit, and then you've got the 2x4. So depending on how much water is on the floor or what the source was or how long the source ran for, is going to determine how affected this assembly could be. And there are visual indicators, if it's been running for hours or perhaps even for days. While this particular assembly is not caulked and painted, if there's a bead of caulking here, as there would be in most homes, and that caulking is splitting or separating, that's giving our team leader a visual clue that moisture, vapor pressure is escaping from this wall cavity, and it's telling us just how wet it may be behind there. So we're going to be concerned about the condition of this drywall, and we're fortunate to have different tools and different techniques that we can use to accurately test the moisture content of the different materials. So we've got something called a pin probe that we can put into the drywall and we can put into the wood, and it's going to give us a very accurate moisture content rating. We can then modify this device with another attachment called a hammer probe that has little spikes in it that we can go right into and through building materials. And that again is going to give us a sense of what's going on behind the baseboard and behind the drywall. And then if we're further concerned, there's no insulation here. If there was insulation here, we could go through the drywall and put these long prongs into the wall cavity in contact with the insulation and get an indication of whether the insulation is wet. So that's really how our fellows are going to interpret and very accurately assess damage when there's been a water loss in a property.